I told him I'd only marry rich. Those exact words, while we were splitting cold fries in the back booth of a 24-hour diner that smelled like burned coffee and fake bacon. It was 3:30 in the morning, the hour when every truth you've rehearsed in the mirror slips out like it's no big deal. I was 26, tired of juggling Rent and Sally Mae, and he, Leo, was sketching little galaxies on the napkin ring, the way he always did when he was nervous. So, genuinely rich? He asked, eyes still on the paper. Not angry, just checking the dimensions of the trap he was already halfway in. 7 figures in the bank, no roommates, therapist on retainer. I've dated every flavor of broke, and they all taste like overdraft fees. I laughed, because if you laugh first, people can't tell whether you're monstrous or just honest. He laughed too, but quieter, like he was recording the moment for evidence. I didn't notice the pause that followed. I was busy plotting my upgrade path. Leo was a junior graphic designer who still took freelance gigs for exposure. Sweet, loyal, creative broke, in the way that feels ideological, like money is a sellout illusion he's too pure to touch. I told myself I loved him, but love doesn't keep the heat on, and February in Chicago is a bully that collects in radiator clicks at 2 a.m. 2 nights later, he brought me daisies, grocery store clearance, stems already drooping, and said he'd applied for a senior role at a tech startup. They need someone who can humanize their interface, he said, cheeks pink. I kissed him and whispered, "Level up for me, baby," like he was a video game avatar I could eventually cash in. I posted the bouquet on Instagram. Blessed. He gets it. Growth mindset. Then scrolled the girls I graduated with who now vacation in Tulum and come back with engagement rings the size of gumballs. I double-tapped their beach shots while Leo snored on my secondhand couch, and I felt the familiar squeeze of timeline panic. Everyone else was collecting passports and down payments. I was collecting CVS coupons and his empty Polaroids. The next week, I dragged him to a rooftop happy hour hosted by a wealth management firm. Free cocktails if you RSVP'd with LinkedIn, and I made him wear the one blazer he owned that didn't have paint on the cuff. I floated through that crowd like champagne myself, laughing at hedge fund jokes I didn't understand, slipping my card into manicured palms. Leo stood by the shrimp tower saying, "I design meaningful pixels," whenever anyone asked what he did, and I watched their eyes skid away. On the Uber home, I was buzzed and brutal. You cannot say pixels to people who summer in the Hamptons. Read the room. He stared out the window. I thought we were just grabbing free drinks. I patted his knee. Baby, every drink costs something. You network or you don't go. He didn't argue, just looked small. And for a second, I hated myself. Hated him for making me hate myself. So I texted my best friend Cassidy. Leo's amazing, but needs finishing school for men. Send help. 3 sparkle emojis. No reply until morning. Cassidy and I had been ride or die since freshman orientation, when we bonded over communal showers and the shared delusion that we'd be the next Tina Fey, Amy Poehler power duo. She ended up in luxury real estate, selling glassy condos to newly divorced dads who replaced their guilt with square footage. She made commission numbers that sounded like phone codes. I told her everything, confident the information would never be used against me because she already had what I wanted: money, options, leverage. 2 days after the rooftop fiasco, Leo texted that he couldn't make our regular Tuesday ramen, said he had to crunch on spec art for an interview. I spent the evening retouching my Bumble photos, increasing the income filter to 100K. I even matched with a crypto guy who owned llamas, but he ghosted after I asked whether the animals smelled. Small price, onward. What I didn't know, what the audience probably guessed before I did, was that Leo wasn't home sketching icons. He was at Cassidy's waterfront listing, installing temporary wall decals so prospects could picture themselves in the space. She'd hired him off TaskRabbit for $50, a gig I'd encouraged because extra cash equals boyfriend glow-up. They ordered Thai afterward. She paid. He talked about growing up on food stamps. She talked about selling her first $1 million listing before 30. Mutual admiration fermented. I have the receipts now, screenshots, timelines, but that night I was busy Googling how to ask boyfriend's salary without sounding shallow. Friday, Leo showed up wearing a new sweater, soft as rabbit fur. When I asked where it came from, he said, bonus from that condo job. Not technically wrong, just incomplete. We slept together, him tracing constellations on my shoulder blade like always, me imagining those constellations plotted on a mansion ceiling. After he left for a morning meeting, I found a printed envelope in my mailbox. Inside, a single gold foil invitation to Cassidy's annual client appreciation cruise, +1 included, of course. I texted her, "Yachts before boys?" She replied instantly, "Always, babe. Bring Leo if he can handle conversations above sea level." Winky face. I didn't see any red flags. I just felt grateful for the upgrade path presenting itself. We boarded the yacht at Navy Pier, all white denim and forced bubbly laughter. Cassidy worked the deck like a runway, hair whipping, pitching square footage against the sunset. I steered Leo toward men wearing boat shoes that cost more than my rent, introducing him as the next big UX name you'll brag about knowing early. He smiled politely, but drifted toward the bar, where a cluster of finance bros argued about NFT monkeys. I tried to follow, but a hedge fund wife latched onto my arm to ask where I bought my lashes. And by the time I escaped, Leo was gone from the deck. I found him below, alone with Cassidy near the engine hum, her hand on his forearm, speaking low. They sprang apart when they sensed me. "Just getting the scoop on design trends," she said, voice syrupy. He nodded, color high. I laughed again, that reflex, but something metallic sparked in my throat. We spent the rest of the cruise taking staged photos, Cassidy directing us like a brand manager, upscale but approachable. I posted one of Leo kissing my cheek, skyline behind, captioned, "Grateful for this one, and for nights that feel like the beginning of everything." 142 likes. No clue the everything had already pivoted. 2 days later, Cassidy uploaded an Instagram story. Zoom in on skyline, latte art, designer notebook, caption, "Brainstorming with my favorite new creative partner." I recognized the handwriting on the notebook, Leo's chunky all caps. I texted her, "Cute, he helping with your new website?" She replied, "Something like that." I told myself, collaboration is networking, and networking is the road to wealth, so technically this served my endgame. I forwarded the story to Leo with hard eyes. He didn't respond until midnight. "Sorry, slammed, miss you." I screenshotted it for evidence that I was unspulig Chinese for not forgotten, something my immigrant mom says when she senses abandonment coming like weather. The following Saturday, they were officially working at her penthouse listing, staging, photographing, floor planning. I tagged along at first, but after an hour, Cassidy asked if I could swing by Whole Foods for more orchids, neutral palette cells. When I returned, orchids wilting in my arms, they were balanced on the kitchen island like acrobats, aligning pendant lights, her palm flat against his back, laughter recosing off stainless steel appliances. I felt suddenly extrasensory. Every reflection broadcast the subtext I refused to read. That night, I confronted him. "Are you into her?" Giggly tone, like the question was a feather, not a blade. He blinked, surprised I'd translated the cipher so quickly. "You told me to network," he said. "She's connected." The pause before connected held multitudes. I tried reverse psychology. "Well, she only dates rich too, so joke's on you." He gave a weird little smile, half pity, half revelation. Good to know the rules stay consistent. We ordered pizza. He left before the credits of whatever rom-com noise we'd put on to drown out the pizza regret. Next afternoon, my group chat detonated. Friend Sarah posted a paparazzi-style photo, Cassidy and Leo at a street fest, sharing roasted corn, his hand wiping chili zest from her lower lip. Corn, the most intimate of all street foods. I typed and deleted 17 responses, finally settling on, "Wow, gossip, haha." My phone rang. Mom. She'd seen the picture because Cassidy's mom posted it on Facebook with the caption, "Young love in the city." Nothing is official until someone's Chinese mother co-signs. I drove Joey's apartment, rehearsing devastation monologues, but halfway there, I realized I didn't know what I was defending. Love? Pride? My IRR on 2 years of emotional investment? He met me on the stoop holding 2 duffels. One clearly new, leather, monogrammed LM in gold. I didn't buy it for him. That's all you need to know. "I was going to call," he started. Classic. I laughed again, that armor, and said, "So you upgraded hardware first." My voice cracked on hardware, betraying the circuitry underneath. He exhaled. "You told me what mattered." Cassidy listened. The simplicity of the sentence detonated every self-serving narrative I'd stacked. I waited for the but, the apology, the offer to stay friends. None arrived. He loaded the bags into an idling black SUV, hers, obviously, and climbed inside. No kiss goodbye, no hug, just the thunk of doors locking, a future I'd blueprinted for someone else to occupy. For a week, I became a private investigator of my own obsolescence. Instagram stories cascaded. Leo in a tailored suit, tagged brand, Cassidy captioning, dressing the part for my favorite new client. Leo posting selfies from a co-working penthouse, grateful for collaborators who believe in the vision. Vision, singular, no longer ours. Comments ranged from heart emojis to, y'all are adorable, the algorithmic stamp of social validation I'd sought elsewhere. Each notification felt like a popcorn kernel lodging in gumline, small, sharp, persistent. I tried retaliation, uploaded a throwback pic of me in a bikini on a rich ex's yacht. Actually my cousin's rental, but lighting is everything. Captioned, growth looks like knowing your worth before someone prices you